don't know how to explain it. So then, me and his little brother started to record, right? But we would record in other rooms too, because they all three had these like regular stereos with the tape recorders and stuff like that, and I used to just record the radio and stuff, but they all had microphones too. Well, the weird thing was we could only pick up stuff on my bed. We couldn't in the bathroom or his brother's room or anywhere else. And the bed we had this giant blood stain. Don't know where that came from, because the bed was given to us.
Oh lord, maybe it came from
what was really weird was we would make sure nobody went upstairs while we were doing it, right? So that we didn't get anything that was unauthentic and stuff like that. And a lot of the recordings, because we would let the tape record all the way, and then me and James would fight over who was going to go upstairs and get the tape, because we were pussies, me and his brother. And then, like, one of us would go get it, and then we'd play it in the kitchen with the lights on and everything. And we would keep getting weird whispering, so it sounded like several things. It sounded like a kid, sounded like a woman, like a man, like, there'd be, like, all kinds of stuff. One of them said, "Get out," very clear. That one scared me to death. Like, I played it. Yeah, I didn't get out. I played it through a phone to my mom, and she's like, you need to get out there." And I'm like, well, I can't get out right now. And then what made me stop doing it for years was the last recording I ever got, which scared me to death. Because there's no explanation of it whatsoever, and I wish to God I still had the tape. Because the last time we did it, right, we're listening through the whole thing. There wasn't really anything in it. Oh, and also another thing, the dogs would bark. They had 1,000,000 chihuahuas. Chihuahuas would go in my room non-stop and just bark at nothing. And I'm like, what? And I wouldn't notice it because you couldn't hear it downstairs. So, like, the last tape we had done, it was towards the end. You start to hear a heartbeat. There's no fucking way a stereo can pick up a heartbeat. It sounded like it was through a stethoscope. And it's like, it gets louder and louder and louder, and then this girl screams like bloody murder, which nobody heard in real life, you know, and then the tape ends. And I'm like, what? And like, I couldn't sleep that night. I think I slept on the couch or something. I was freaking out, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to go up there. And I just quit recording for a long time.
Yeah, you know what? I would just quit life for a little bit.
It was so scary, and I didn't know how to explain it.
I don't know how to explain it.
I thought there was a pedophile at my
whoa, wrong ghost stories.
A giant cat.
You just
I'm sorry, I thought it was, but it was a giant cat. Like,
breakfast, you still need suburbs. Breakfast.
Yeah.
Breakfast.
You still need suburbs.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Search the zone for gourd guide go giggles.
Anybody else have a ghost story?
I have one more.
I don't need to do a suburban, but we can do whatever.
I was just playing PlayStation.
It's already starting out. Let's just play it.
And I have like these lights. It's not like a light bulb. It's like one of those long lights that you've seen idiots smash on their friends' heads. And it's like a clear
exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. Yeah, they're found in schools sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes me think of backyard wrestling.
Well, there's one bar in my basement, and there's one of them just right above it. And I remember I was just chilling, and I heard it like drop.
Yeah.
And they're like nailed.
Oh.
Like literally heard it I heard it slam, and I freaked out. And then it happened again a couple days later, and then that was terrifying because I didn't want to look behind me because I didn't want to see anything. I was freaked out. And then one of my dad's little figures he has like a whole cool little thing. He's not like a collection nerd, you know, all of his Luigi's. Yeah. He has some like.
He has what? Oh, he's not in here yet. He's connecting.
Yeah. Come on, connect. I wanna finish your story. I know, right? We're just waiting for the finish.
Something weird is
He just doesn't connect.
There he is. Alright, finish the...
and spawning huge waves of enemies. Whatever's happening, we need to stop it from spreading. When you find an active encampment, be ready to fight until the end. According to my data, we have 20 minutes to neutralize the target. Search the zone and keep an eye out for any encampments that look angrier than usual. I'll keep an eye out from here.
I don't think it's gonna be able to connect. Can somebody else tell a story? There's a chest on a mountain. I've never seen this.
Mine's not really a story. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to think. What did I even say?
Yours not even a story?
No. I'm trying to think of what to say.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, there he is. Hold it.
Yep, sorry. So,
You had time to think.
I know.
Oh, what was I gonna say? So, the little football player thingy, it looked like it was thrown across the room, and we were like, why is there no head? Like, the head of it was attached.
What?
And they're like glue, the super glue, or some type of glue that's really hard to rip.
Yeah.
Kind of like if you super glued your fingers to each other, and it would be like days to get to the fingers detached.
I get mine detached right away, that scares me.
That's what you said. And then all of a sudden, you're like, we're looking around, like, okay, this is weird, but maybe it just fell and the head was loose.
Yeah.
And we found it in the corner behind my bar, placed perfectly, so when you look at it, it looks like it was looking at you.
Wow.
That's
creepy.
A couple things that have happened. Like, not much has happened, but ever since like that, I still have like little, oh, I got one more for you guys because my house is kind of sus. You know, since we're watching TV,
my old house
goes
is
sus. And me and my sister were watching TV, and it sounded like a grown man was walking down the stairs. And we looked, and my dad wasn't there. And whenever you walk on like our stairs leading up,
check out your map.
to our rooms, since there's no carpet, if you have carpet leading to your upstairs, you're kind of weird. It's only downstairs. But they're like kind of, there's a couple stairs that creak a little bit, but not a lot. So if anything puts pressure on a couple of those stairs, it's gonna creak.
Yeah.
And cats were asleep. Dog was asleep. I don't even think we had a dog, but every animal, every animal, majanimal, every gender of the house was asleep.
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks. And it sounded like at least like a 250-pound guy was walking down the street. Yeah, walking down the stairs.
Oh, it scared me. My old house is fucked up.
A
lot of people have seen stuff in the corner of my room, which scares me, and like, I'm not lying at all, I promise you. One day I was sitting here, and it's right where my TV is, my PlayStation and everything. I was sitting here, right, and it looked like I heard a sound, and I looked over, and something on the freaking, like, stand that everything's on had, like, lifted, and then just dropped right in front of my eyes, and I'm like, am I tripping? I get scared the fucking hell out of me.
There's no way. Did that actually happen?
I promise, yes.
Oh my god. So you said it looked like something was perched?
It looked like something got lifted, and then just dropped. It freaked me out.
That's weird. I mean, it's always an old house that has some creepy stuff in it. Like my house,
not really.
In the other state.
I don't think this house is that old. I just think it's me. I think someone's telling me.
Take out the enemies to clear the encampment.
You know what?
It doesn't matter where I live.
You know what? Maybe you're a person that can see dead people.
I don't see them. I see shadows sometimes.
Exactly.
Find the next one.
The
next encampment might be stronger. Make sure your weapons.
Sorry to put that in your mind, but it could be.
No. It can't just be her though, cause
Yeah, I smell things a lot. Like that freaks me out.
one of the things that happened to me was my grandma.
If it smells like something dead, you need to get out of there.
15 minutes
See, that's what somebody said about the garlic thing. They said I could have been actually smelling like sulfur, which means there's a demon, not something nice. And I'm like,
Gotta get out of that place then. If it smells like a dead animal.
I smelled the garlic, but they were saying I could have been mistaking it for like a demon or something. Oh.
My grandma used to wear this certain perfume, right? And there was this one night where I was laying in bed, I was asleep, and like, I felt something at the bottom of my bed. Like, you know when you put pressure on it?
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah, you're gonna feel that.
And fucking, I woke up, and I could smell my grandma's perfume.
Aww.
And I ran into my mom's room crying, saying, Grandma's dead, Grandma's dead. And,
Lord.
she died that night. Yeah, she died that night.
That reminds me of what happened to my mom.
They found out she died that night.
So she visited you? Like,
yeah, basically
kind of like,
she came to say goodbye, basically,
that's
what they said.
That's kind of nice. That's like... That's
exactly what happened to my mom. That was so scary.
And fucking, like, 3 weeks later, I woke up to a letter on the side of, like, on the little table next to my bed saying, I miss you. And I'm like, holy shit.
Oh.
I'm like, freaking the fuck out. I was like, I think it was like 10 at this point. No.
It is. That's cute.
Yeah,
that's
but as a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
That's freaky. Yeah, it's freaky.
Yeah, my mom got scared
too.
too.
I left. I told my parents I was not staying in that house.
I need help at this encampment. I didn't know it was a part of the mission. It's gonna be hard. I'll tell you something in a second. I'm trying to fight.
Now that I think about it, like, I was like, oh, she came to see me before she before she left. But like, at that age, I was like, fuck this shit. I'm out.
Still think about my grandma. She's like 95 and she's not doing too great. She's really like.
Ever since then.
Oh, she's 95.
I actually had a really nice dream.
I just don't know. Like, I always think like maybe tomorrow.
Ever since then,
dream again?
No, but I mean, like recently. Okay, so like a good thing to balance out all the weird shit that's been going on. A little while ago, I wouldn't say too recently, but pretty recently, I had a dream, and what it was I just entered this room, and it was a blank room except for a phone, and when I picked it up, I would hear old conversations I used to have with my grandpa. That I used to have. And I actually started crying, and when I woke up, like my mom woke me up because she said she heard me crying.
So that makes me think of like a spirit just talking in your sleep, and maybe you interpret it as a dream or something. Or maybe they are like watching over you and talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would just recall memories
You pick up
like,
way more in your sleep than when you're awake. I think your mind's actually smarter when you're asleep, unless I'm just talking shit, but I'm pretty sure I heard that.
Probably, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, because if you're dreaming about the stuff you think about, you're probably using more of that brain than you do when
Well, I've had dreams that come true, so that makes me think that, yeah, like in my sleep I'm a freaking psychic.
Possible. Who knows?
I was gonna tell you a story about my mom and her grandma.
Your mommy?
She said it was like, she showed me the house when we were going to Heber Heights one day, because, my grandma had moved from that house, so it was a house when they were kids. Yeah. She never liked that house, she told me. She didn't even like the neighborhood. There was a couple weird things that happened to her, but I'll tell you, like, what happened with her grandma.
Round 3.
What happened was, she shared a room with her sister, right? And she said her curtains was like a bright yellow. Her room was always lit really bright in the morning and stuff. So she wakes up in the morning, and she said she's seen like a full freaking figure of a ghost. Like, she couldn't make out its face though. She said space looked like kind of like a fog over it or something, but she's seen like a pretty dress and everything. Like, she could see everything else.
Yeah.
And then she said like she was so scared and frozen that she just stood there or laid there for like a few minutes staring at it, making sure she wasn't tripping. And it wasn't going away, it was just in her doorway. So then she said like she ended up laying under the blankets till her sister woke up because they were in the same bed. And she said like Lisa woke up and was like, "What are you doing?" And she like told her, but she told her not to tell their parents because their parents would think she's crazy or something. Yeah. And then she said like a couple hours later somebody called and said that her grandmother passed away. And I'm like, that is nuts.
Yeah.
It's like her grandma's soul visited her before she actually passed away.
Yeah. Or it might have been right when she passed away, because they don't really know when. They just
and then they
found
figured out
and called her.
A couple hours later.
Who called grandma, her mom.
I still find letters like when I wake up sometimes.
That is crazy. Did you have a strong connection with your grandma? Because that's gotta take a lot of energy to write a letter.
I used to like stay there all the time, and like when I wasn't staying there I would always go see her like pretty much every day.
Oh. I'm about to give you some crack.
I thought you were gonna like I thought you were just saying that as like to make him feel better.
I mean, it doesn't affect me now, but like it doesn't frighten me now, but like still back in the day I was frightened as shit. And like about a month ago I found a letter.
You should be happy because I dabbled with Ouija boards like an idiot trying to get a hold of my dad.
Oh my god, no wonder you have a connection with creepy stuff.
No, this was way after all that stuff happened. Like, I just started doing it the past few years, but it doesn't do anything. I'm like, these movies are full of shit.
You're doing it wrong.
I've done it every way you can. The only time it's ever worked is if I'm with my son, and I think maybe... See, there's a thing, they did a special on Ouija boards where they went to like these witches that were acting like they had the best Ouija boards in the world, and then they tested it on these people in a hotel that knew of a story that happened there, and they kept getting answers, right? So then they blindfold the people, and they're not spelling a damn thing, because they flipped it upside down. So they went to like psychologists and all kinds of stuff. There's actually a thing, like if you're thinking of an answer or anything like that too much, you're gonna involuntarily your hand's gonna move and spell it out for you.
I just got a mimic.
Nice.
The gifts are downstairs.
I literally looked at you like slowly.
But I mean, I believe other people about Ouija boards. Like my mom had a really scary Ouija board story, and she is so mad that I got one. She goes off all the time. Well, I have two because I got an older one.
Mad.
The first one wasn't.
Downstairs.
I don't think I plan on getting one.
It didn't do anything.
I'd rather have nothing.
I do not want one.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared of having them. But I've only tried it probably. I've tried them like 2 or 3 times.
Why, you crackhead?
I tried it once and I will never do it again.
That's how my mom was too. Something bad happened to her.
Well, the person that said well, that got spelled out was the devil. Well, as in Satan. And he said that he was gonna kill us.
See, when I did it with Marcus, it said something satanic like that, and I was like, man, he's gotta be playing a trick on me. Because it didn't work with anybody else.
I was the only.
I don't even know
me
if
and
he's
my
playing a
friend.
trick. I think he might have been accidentally moving his hands, because when I make him close his eyes and stuff, it would stop moving.
We both had our eyes closed, and like we had someone standing there reading what it was saying and recording it.
I recorded too, and I didn't get nothing while I was using it. And I usually can get recordings easily.
That happened to me, and I was fucked up. I'm never doing that shit again.
What happened to my mom was actually the scariest story I ever heard. That's why it took me so long to get one. But I wanted to talk to my dad so freaking bad that I was just like, fuck it. I got ripped off by a medium on Facebook too, and she had to pay me back though because it was through PayPal, and they're supposed to like promise to do this and that, and I could tell she was Googling, because I was Googling at the same time, so right when she told me the first result, that was the first result on Google, it had nothing to do with my dad.
Yeah.
So like, I complained to the moderator, they made her pay me back or they were going to kick her out of the group because those people get paid on there.
Yeah.
So that's why I got one. But what happened to my mom was like she played with her friend Judy. Her friend Judy's crazy to this day, and I do think it was because Luigi board, because Judy played him all the fucking time. And I guess
This is the big time.
what
Get
had
ready.
happened? My mom said she was staying the night with Judy. Judy always asked her to play it. She'd always say no, but she kept begging her and begging her and begging her. So that night she played it with her. And Judy's mom was there, but she's in another room. And I guess they're in the kitchen with the lights out and they got candles lit. My mom said the candle flame kept shooting high, high, high in the air like she's never seen anything happen before. There was no wind or nothing. And then she said like the lights were turning on and off. And then she was asking questions about her real father. He had already passed away and it was lying and all kinds of stuff. And I guess oh, it told her to beware of fire. My mom's scared to death of fire because she felt fire go through her arm when it said that. And then she told Judy, I'm done, I don't want to play it. Well, and Judy kept trying to get her to play, but she's like, no, I am done. And mom's friend wasn't thinking, I guess, when they were going to bed. And she set it like straight under my mom's bed because they're on two different beds. My mom said she woke up and she was like looking at her own self and she said she had to jump up and shake and it freaked her out so bad. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Yeah, it was the scariest story I ever felt or heard. But she said it felt like something went through her and then she was looking down at herself and I'm like, oh my god.
Like something took over her for a second.
Yeah, and she said like a week after that, right? It was her, Judy, and their friends. Well, it was her, Judy, and her friends, and they were trying to get my mom to smoke weed. My mom would smoke every now and then back then, but my mom said no because she was going home. My mom is lucky. They laced it with PCP. Judy's been crazy ever since. Because some people can't handle it. Yes, like she cusses at her mom, her daughter, everything. Her mom has to take care of her kid. She cusses everyone out. She's cussed my mom out, and my mom said Judy was like the sweetest person in the world before that happened. Like
your mom could have been mentally unstably insane if she took that.
Yeah. Wow. And my mom said she had really weird thoughts after she used the Ouija board for a while, and like she kept going to churches and they kept like praying for her and stuff.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, I have a question. Does photo negative do anything? Does photo negative do anything for stuff like that?
Does what?
Photo negative?
Yeah, it can do.
For like seeing paranormal stuff.
He knows.
Are you talking about like when it's like in a different
No, like if you have a quarter and it has different settings and you set it to that mode or that filter, can it see stuff?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if you're saying. I'm not sure.
Because I was wondering if photo negative did that.
I don't know.
It can do, yeah.
It might be able to, because they use like night vision and pick stuff up, or heat vision, that's what it was.
Because I do have a camcorder I got a long time ago, and it doesn't have a lot of filters, but it has photo negative.
It probably would.
I
used to take a lot of pictures around me whenever I felt weird. Oh, that's cool.
It works like 10 feet underwater.
That's sick.
I just have to turn the white mode, the water mode on.
I'm trying to think of anything else that happened to me. The rest was just minuscule, like when I play the game, I was like alone, and my mom told me it was my dad, and then smell the garlic like I was saying, but somebody told me that could have been sulfur, and I don't know the smell of sulfur, I'd have to look into it. It smelled like really strong garlic though.
Yeah, that's what sofa smells like though.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Sure.
My hands are sweating, I'm getting nervous.
I told you your house is haunted, but it's fine.
Shut up!
It's all good.
Sure it is.
It's all gonna be okay. It's just fine.
Yeah, it's just fine.
Everything's fine to be haunted, you know? It's all
Everything's so fine.
good. It's fine, I don't do that.
Fuck you!
Yeah, that's what my cousin says whenever she drives me somewhere, because my step-cousin, she drives me around places a lot. And she's like, I'm like, well, what if something, like, and then she'll bust out weed, and I'm like, well, and then, like, my friends are like, yo, could I have some? I'm like, dude, are you serious right now? And then, like, and then my cousin's just like, sure, you go